Topping today's news, we'll take a look at some of the aspects from the Prime Minister's fiscal budget communication. Police officers looking to squash an unfavorable ruling by the Coroner's Court. Former Cabinet Minister Shane Gibson set to contest the next election. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Jarino Saunders. This is your Jcn Evening News. It's a pleasure to have you join us. While presenting the 2023-2024 budget communication in the House of Assembly this morning, Prime Minister Philip Davis says his administration is determined to make the Bahamas a safer place to live and will enhance its efforts to reduce crime, which seems to have taken deep roots because of poverty, despair, and violence. He says crime is having a negative impact on the nation's children as well.
When asked, many Bahamians cite crime or the fear of crime as one of their main concerns. A few months ago, I visited, along with the Minister of Education, the S.C. McPherson Junior High School. And I invited children to ask me questions. Many of the questions from these fine young people related to crime. Their anxiety is hardly surprising, given the reports and images of violence which unfortunately have become part of our daily lives. The fact that so much of violent crime is gang-related does not mean that we should care any less about such senseless waste of life. Madam Speaker, I want our Bahamian children to grow up without these fears. I want them to dream big. But if a child is worried about the safety of a brother, a friend, a cousin, or if a child is worried about his own safety, it is hard to ask him to expand his ambitions. Fear can be a powerful inhibitor, a formidable obstacle to achieving one's full potential.
The Prime Minister admitted that the government's ongoing crime-fighting initiatives like urban renewal, saturation patrols, recruiting new police, defense, correctional, and immigration officers, as well as increased funding, has had some promising results, but the reduction in crime is not coming as quickly as the government and law-abiding citizens would like to see. He says going forward, the government will take an even wider approach to fighting crime.
Madam Speaker, in this budget, I'm pleased to announce that we are implementing an even more comprehensive approach to fighting crime. This covers a full range of interventions, including prevention, detection, prosecution, punishment, and rehabilitation. Funding will be provided for the renovation of community centers in the inner city areas of New Providence. In order to better serve those involved in the administration of justice, the premises and facilities of the courts will be renovated and a new judicial complex built. We will continue to invest in technology such as CCTV and body cams for the Royal Bahamas Police Force, as well as acquire additional vehicles and hire more new staff. We have allocated funding to build a women's shelter, and we are increasing legal aid support for victims of domestic violence.
The country's traffic fatality rate so far for 2023 surpasses the figure for the same period of 2022, with police now investigating a hit-and-run accident that occurred on Monday, resulting in the death of a male. Police say the victim succumbed to his injuries sustained in that accident on Tuesday. According to reports, shortly before 9 p.m. on Monday, the victim was attempting to cross the street at the intersection of Carmichael Road and Faith Avenue when he was struck by a silver gray sports utility vehicle which was traveling east on Carmichael Road. The victim was taken to hospital via emergency medical services personnel. The driver, though, refused to remain on scene. Hence, police are requesting the public's assistance in locating him. The SUV has front-end damage, mostly towards the left side. Anyone with information that can assist police in locating the driver or the vehicle, you're asked to contact the police. National Security Minister Wayne Monroe announcing that the officers involved with the shooting death of 31-year-old Azario Major in December 2021 are attempting to squash the ruling made by the coroner. Last week, the coroner's court ruled that the police-involved killing was a homicide by manslaughter.
Don't make comment. The most that I can say is I've been advised that the officers' attorneys are moving the Supreme Court to quash the inquest based on the pre-trial publications of the video, and that's a matter that will be before the court. The court will have to consider that. The court will have to come to a conclusion about that. These things are to be tried in the court of law and not the court of public opinion. And so I don't intend to be commenting on a matter that may go before a jury, because I know that my comments would be said to be the Minister of National Security has said this or said that, and the officers will do what they do, instruct their lawyers, and their lawyers will point to a case called Kofi Goodman, where one of my predecessors said something that resulted in a conviction of Kofi Goodman, the first conviction being quashed.
Azario Major was killed outside Woody's Bar on Fire Trail Road on December 26, 2021. Officials will now decide whether to charge any or all of the officers with a crime. Minister of National Security Wayne Monroe also responding to claims by attorney Bjorn Ferguson on the sexual assault case with Member of Parliament Kurt Cornish. Mr. Ferguson, who represents the woman who accused Mr. Cornish of physical and sexual assault, alleges that the investigation into the matter has been stalled due to the high profile of the accused. Minister Monroe says those claims are false.
I don't really understand his reference. I practiced before the courts for 31 years before taking this office, and the time that investigations take are driven less by who you are than by the facts of a matter. So if you have an allegation of, we had them with tourists with the spring break things, it's fairly simple. They say they were raped, they come immediately to the police station, they're carried to the hospital. All of that happens in a short compass. Whether the person in that instance is rich, powerful, famous, doesn't really matter.
He claims the longer the accuser takes to come forward, the longer the investigations will take. Former Member of Parliament and Cabinet Minister Jcn Gibson announcing today that he intends to run during the next election in the Michael constituency with the Progressive Liberal Party. He describes himself as a people's person that can get things done.
My first choice is the Progressive Liberal Party. I've made application to them. I'm waiting on them to respond. They've not responded yet. They've not acknowledged my letter. They've not said anything. Even though I've had a conversation with them and they've said exactly what they feel about it at this time in terms of not having an issue with me being down there. And so the thing is, I'm available to run. I will run. I'm a people's person. I believe I'm result driven. I'm able to get things done. The trade unionism in me will continue to be in me to help protect the workers of this country. And if I can continue to do it at the very highest level, I'll continue to do it. And that's why I'm here today, supporting this new Congress, because what I've seen in the Bahamas over the years is I've seen a sort of the deterioration of the influence of trade unionism in the Bahamas and the trade unions have on the economy and what's happening in our country.
As to his reason for choosing the Michael constituency, Mr. Gibson says he feels that constituents are being shortchanged in every aspect.
First of all, it must be a special reason why what is happening in Michael is happening, right? Because normally you don't announce this early. But the fact of the matter is, I've told the Member of Parliament when I first decided to consider it, listen here, I called him, I say, I'm interested, what are your thoughts on running again? He said he wasn't sure. If he come to me today and say, Gibson, I intend to run in the next election, I'll withdraw because I respect incumbents, right? So I'm only there because I feel as though the persons are being shortchanged as a result of the large volume of calls that I've been receiving every single day from my cars. So my intent is not to try and undermine anybody who's there, but to try and supplement the benefits to the persons down there, because they call me every day with different issues, and I'm able to deal with it because of the experience and the network I was able to generate over the years between being in the trade union movement and being in government. And so it's my intention to run. But if he come to me today, right, on the 1st day of June, right, this is the 31st day, the 31st of May. on the 31st of May and he say, Gibson, I'm running in my car, I withdraw my consideration to run. I wouldn't run. I'm not going to do it.
He goes on to say that although the PLP party is his first choice, he is open to run independently or exercise any other option to run. And finally, in this segment, condolences going out, or they continue to pour in rather, for the family of the late George A. Smith. The former Progressive Liberal Party cabinet minister is being hailed as a political giant who advocated for the Bahamian people. He was among the founding fathers of the nation, and as parliamentary secretary to the nation's first prime minister, the late Sir Lyndon Pinling, he was a part of the delegation that traveled to London in December of 1972 to attend the Conference on Independence. Prime Minister Philip Davis hailed George Smith as a mentor, a friend, and a trusted voice who helped shape the discussions that have propelled the Bahamas forward. He says he was steadfast in his dedication to empowering ordinary Bahamians, and his tireless advocacy for progress and change will remain his enduring legacy. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper, in a statement expressing his condolences, says it was an honor to follow in Mr. Smith's footsteps as the Member of Parliament for Exuma and a member of the Cabinet. Mr. Smith was the Member of Parliament for Exuma from 1968 all the way to 1992. In reflections of Mr. Smith, PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell says he was an active councillor of the PLP, most recently serving as a member of the Candidates Committee of the party for the 2021 general elections. The PLP Chairman contends that with Mr. Smith's passing, a chapter in the history of our beloved country comes to a close. We'll take a break here. We'll be right back after these commercials.